good afternoon, and welcome to Rubbin Minds. Indeed, it's another beautiful afternoon. My name is Isabella Adediji. Now, our mobile phones have become our companions everywhere we go. We don't just receive calls, but we capture all the details. We go out to eat, we capture our food. We're at a friend's house, we're recording, and then it goes a step further to people actually setting a ring light and capturing their struggles. They're capturing the drama, the gossip. Some even take time out to go on live to start dishing out all what is supposed to be private, family issues. We're hearing in the news over the past week about someone's mother getting on her knees to beg the fiancé of her son on live, and we're wondering, is that too much? We're hearing about hide and seek, truth and dare, that's leading to extramarital affairs. And sometimes a lot of people online just say, everything I know about this story has been against my will. To discuss oversharing, undersharing, what should be on the internet and what should be at home, I have with me a media practitioner, Precious Enyayeko. Welcome to Rubbin Minds. And also with me in the studio is Bolanle Babalola, a multimedia producer. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So I'll start with you, Bolanle. This past week, are there things that you've seen on social media and you've thought, wait a minute, why is this on the internet? Surely this can be settled behind closed doors. That idiom was saying about, don't wash your dirty laundry in public. Does that apply to what we're seeing on social media today?
No, I don't, that particular idiom of don't wash your dirty laundry. Now they want the laundry to be outside. They want to see the clothes outside. They want to be able to get validation outside. I think back then it used to be let a secret be a secret, what it is. Let's keep our business within the family or close-knit friends. But now it feels like the family can't give you all that you need, so you go outside to say everything because the opinion of your family does not matter anymore. So now it's social media that actually gives you all the zeal, all the advice you need, especially from people you don't know. So there's no secret per se within the borders of your family. People go beyond, as in they go the extra mile to get validation from the public on different social media platforms. Most times I'm shocked by things I see on social media. Then I ask myself, am I too old? Because I don't know what's going on. When we're growing up, my teenagers in secondary school, university, even in university, we don't used to do things like this. There are some things you hear on social media and you're like, this thing should not be online. Stop it.
Stop it, really. And you're just thinking, why? Precious, I'd like you to pick up on what she said. Do people go online to air their dirty laundry for validation, or is it for popularity, or is it for advice? Like they don't believe their family members can give them advice, but online in-laws, online family members, they're the people that can solve their problems. Why are people sharing private things online?
So I would say, like Bolanle said, now what we term public is no longer public, it's private. What is in private now is now public. And I feel it's for everything, actually, except for the advice part, right? Is more for instant validation, Family, when you take your mother to family, it requires patience. They have to converge, they have to wait. They don't want that. They want, the pity party. When you post it online, people start talking. Then it gets you the popularity, the cloud chasing. You get the numbers, people start clicking, views, so it makes you popular, right? So I feel like it's more for instant validation, clouds, for publicity. It makes you known. Like, to think that some people even orchestrate these things to just go viral, is something. So yeah, instant validation on the spot. As you are posting it, you go live, set your ring lights. People are saying, we're so sorry. How can we support you? Some people are bashing you. But at the end of it, you get 2 million views. They are paying you for it. That's money for you. That's clout for you.
So this is another stream of income.
Yeah.
It's no longer, I really need advice. It's what can I do to get people's sympathy and people's money.
Yes.
There's something they say amongst those that are influencers and digitally savvy nowadays, they say bad. There's no publicity that is bad.
No bad.
So
yeah.
good or bad, it's all publicity. Yeah. So as she said, some of them actually frame the stories up. The things you said you saw on social media, some might be true, some might not be true. They're doing it because at that particular point they need traction.
Yeah.
They need the traffic, they need their numbers to go up. Especially when you notice, probably like Instagram, they have, lately Instagram will just cut your followers for no reason. You just there is going to say, hey, just gonna cook up a story, and then something will just happen. Same thing with TikTok. TikTok pays people. So you want to get more money, you have an emergency, you just call your PR person and cook up a story and it works for you. But needless to say, they are not mindful of the effects of particular propaganda they're pushing out to the public. So if you're pushing out negative news about yourself that affects you, that affects your family, at the end of the day, what does it do to your brand? That's the question.
Yeah, at what cost?
At what cost? Is it influencing your brand positively or negatively? Like certain people, should I use the word brands, I want to sign you up, looking at the life of an influencer or ambassador, will be like, this person is known for this person is known for this. I don't think I need this person on my platform. I can't work with this person. But those that don't care, be like, she has the numbers, or he has the numbers. Let's just work with him because they have the numbers. So now the question is, the brands themselves, are they actually helping these people put a check as to what is good and what is bad? So if you keep paying them to keep pushing out, churning out a lot of nonsense, it will continue like that.
Precious, I want to know the advice that eventually comes. Somebody calls out their family members, somebody calls out someone for not paying for their health care, for not giving them money, a rich child, and they feel, oh, my child should be doing this for me and this child is not doing this for me. Do the online audience or the online in-laws, family members, do enough to now resolve the issues, or is it just, yeah, we have heard it, we'll comment, we move on to the next one, and things don't really change?
So for the online in-laws, it's just gist to them, because we now have a society that celebrates this thing, a society that is hungry for gist. So when you have this gist going on now, the truth or dare and everything, in the next 2 seconds, another gist will come. So we are now gist hunting, so we don't care about you like that. I'm sorry, but we actually don't, right? So people that are kind enough will drop their advice in the comment section, but they won't read it. Imagine having 2,000 comments under the post. Oh, this person is this, why you should take care of your parents. Another group will say it doesn't owe you anything, So it's not that we care. At that point, we are stuck on the gist. It's interesting, And if you've noticed, there's this trend on social media. It doesn't just come and stop there, at least for the next 1 week. So different parties are coming up, they will go and gather evidence. So they are juicing the gist. And
somebody else will pick on that particular ones to get followers and trending on the same platform.
And blogs now will pick a fraction of that gist and just post it, cut out, edit, and post and get traction. So online in-laws don't really care, right? Until it's their own gist.
We're just there for the juice,
yes,
right? We're just there for the gossip, and then we move to the next one. So, I wonder, like, let's use Ashake, for example. I don't know if you saw in the news his dad calling him out, and it's like, my rich son, you're supposed to be taking care of me, and you're here. And then people are of two minds. Some are like, please, leave him alone. Like, I'm sure he's doing already what he can do. Maybe these people are entitled and all of that. I just wonder that when a father should go a step further to call out their son, are they thinking about the effect that, okay, maybe if people now really get on my side, they will just decide that they don't want to listen to Ashake's music again, they don't want to follow Ashake. Are they thinking about the repercussions, or is all fun and vibes, like, until I get what I want?
Well, I like that part you said, it's all fun and vibes until I get what I want. It brings me back to that of Mohbad's family. What happened to him, where they are presently. With his father, with the mother, with the wife and his son.
Like, it's a never
so that family is in chaos presently. They're not together. The last I saw, I think it was yesterday as well, Mohbad's father was saying that his son shouldn't have married someone like her. Now the question is, when this started initially, did you think of the future of the wife, of the son in question, your grandson. Did you think of,
like, is he not going to grow up and read all these things?
So prior to Ashake's father coming online, from the little I know, because I've been trying to get myself out of that mental space, like, Nigeria, we're having issues in this country.
Like,
it's not,
you know,
it's not your gossip that is worrying me.
sometimes.
I'm looking for my own money. You people should leave me. So prior to this, nobody knows anything about Ashake's background.
Yes.
He has tried to keep his family, his upbringing and everything hidden. And then the father comes out. When I saw the video, I was like, for real? This is Ashake's dad? That's not possible now. And then I started seeing evidence, and then I saw a song. I was even with my friend. I'm like, Ashake is replying his dad by singing.
Well, he didn't directly reply.
No,
he didn't reply.
For a normal allergy, as a Yoruba person, you won't do that. You won't do that. So number one, you don't know his state of mind, his upbringing, what he's been through, his childhood. He has his reasons for keeping his life private until the father decided to come to social media. Now, in responding to that, he was looking at it like, it was a lot of proverbs. Let me not say too much. That there's nothing you will do that will satisfy a human being. Even if you cut your neck, they will still say you never try. Before we now started saying online in-laws bring receipts. He has done this for his father. He bought Lexus. He did this. He did that. But the question is, to what extent can a child go to satisfy their parents? There are some people that are not as wealthy as Ashake, families that I know, that the person that is the breadwinner of that family, the minute they will ask you for something, after providing all this while, the one time you will tell them no, you're in trouble. So the truth is, we're human, we're never satisfied. No matter how hard you keep pushing yourself. And then on the other side of the coin, he's your father. Irrespective, there's a way you can settle this matter. There's a way you can reconcile without having to come to social media to say anything. Drag Olamide as they may, till date. Olamide does not talk when he doesn't want to talk. You can't force Bado to say anything about his personal life if he doesn't want to say it. Nobody really knows anything about him. So that you can actually control your personal information that filters to social platforms.
And you know,
can
the
control
thing
it.
is, it sets off a chain reaction, because there are certain things we should not know about. It should just end as Ashake's dad is calling out his son so that maybe they can increase his monthly allowance. But now we're finding out from an auntie that apparently during Ashake's naming ceremony, there was a musician that came to perform, and later on, Ashake's mom left her husband, that is Ashake's daddy, to go and marry the musician. And I mean, why do we need to know this? These are the kind of things that we probably take to the grave. It's all allegedly, because I mean, this is what we see on social media. We know that it's not everything, like you said. Sometimes people just sit down and cook up something. So allegedly, she left her husband to go and marry the musician that performed at this.
You know, that was the same thing they said about Mohbad's mom. So there's a lot of things. Some people just come out to talk because they also want to be in the gist, so they can get attention, so they can get traffic. But it's only the family that knows what happened, really.
Precious, I'm seeing you agree. Like, what do you think about all of this? I mean, you've seen about Oluwadola's mom. How would you feel if that was you? Like, your intending mother-in-law goes on live, kneeling down, begging you, like.
So the conversation did not start with the mother-in-law. It started with the lady, right? So she set ring lights to say, oh, he cheated on her, and she's calling it off, and went on and on about it before the mother intervened. First, I have a problem with the fact that you would bring your personal life outside. When it was Rosie, we didn't know anything about it, right? And I feel like it's a society now that thinks that they have real friends on social media, because putting in work in your personal relationships, your friends, your family, is now looking like a lot of work. So they rather speak to people that don't know them, that they don't have to do so much work for, you know, and just come online and dump it on us and expect that we don't react. I don't blame people that react, that drop comments, that say, it's the market you put outside that people will buy, right? So if you're saying, oh, you don't have to comment, it's in our face. Like, we don't. Imagine hearing that news for 1 week straight. Sometimes I might be triggered to just type, even though I'm not supposed to, but Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I would just, please, can you guys take it offline? Like, what is this, right?
And so Two-Face's own was last month, though. You remember Two-Face and Annie?
Yes, so that was a lot.
It took a while. That one just went for weeks, and then That was it. Now we're on another phase.
I mean, if you look at what's happening with Lande and his wife and Truth and Dare Game and Babati, like it's almost like a movie script playing out allegedly, and you're just wondering, like, is that the new thing, like where people put out this kind of information that is scandalous and goes against like morality?
What if it's actually a script?
Just to get followers and to become a celebrity, because one would think that Lande's wife in all of this will, you know, just be like, oh, I wish this thing didn't come out. But it's almost
take me
like
out of this.
She's not a celebrity, like she's building on that.
Well, I would say it's what the society allows, from our reality show to what filters into our social media platform. If you go to other countries, like in Canada, they actually control what filters into their digital platform. TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, you can't just put anything there anyhow. The same thing in Dubai. So it's when there's no law, there's no sin. If you can sign up, sorry to say, I'm not saying it's wrong, but if you can sign up people like Pella and the rest of them, you're praising whatever it is these youths are doing. So if the brands are able to curtail it, to put out principles that guard certain ambassadors, we are not going to sign you if you do this, then we'll be able to control the damage to the society per se. But if you keep, which word should I use now? Celebrating them and paying them for doing what they do, it will continue. Dollars Mom coming online to beg on TikTok was the height of it. And she's not the first person. There are other people too.
And she probably won't be the last person.
Professor's mom also came online to say, Natasha, they use jazz for my pikin. Help me.
That's true. That's true. But appealing to Nigerians very quickly, because we're out of time. Precious, any last words? Should the brands stop encouraging this kind of popularity? Should the kind of content we're putting out be censored? Like, what's the way forward? We should just get used to it.
So I won't attack the brands. They need numbers. It's business, right? But I will speak more to us as individuals. We enable these things. We enable it. You see, Gist Lover will not be Gist Lover if there is no audience for it.
Followers.
The blogs will not be the blogs if there are no audience. There are people consuming these things. We drop our comments, we like, we share.
I mean, we're here talking about it,
so we share.
I guess
the brand,
the same finger pointing.
Yes, that's why I said
brands.
we individuals. So before the brands, we need to speak to, because the brands, I'm in for business. I need somebody that can promote my business. So I'll go for somebody that people listen to. And in this part of the world, we don't reward intelligence or creativity or innovation. We reward noise. Like, just be loud. Some people have made it from just being constantly on blogs trending for the wrong reasons. We're speaking about a musician that was caught stealing some years ago in 2020. His video is online, naked video, when they caught him stealing. Now he's brand ambassador for top brands, right? I won't mention the names, and he's making money. So it's some people,
well, it's the same thing. The same guy I mentioned, Pella said when he was speaking straight English, he wasn't making money. When he was trying to do the right thing, he wasn't making money until he started sounding like somebody that couldn't understand English, started doing stupid things on social media. Then his numbers started growing and they started signing him up as ambassadors. So at the end of the day, what do we promote?
And what are we enabling to your point? Thank you so much, Precious and Bolanle, for being our guest on Rubbin Minds.
My pleasure.
Welcome back to Rubbin Minds. Now, the month of March is dedicated to women. March 8th is International Women's Day, and the entire March really is International Women's Month, Women's History Month. And this is an opportunity for people to come together to speak up about the rights women have, to remove some of the barriers that have prevented women from achieving their full potential, gaining economic independence, and also being able to fully participate in all aspects of society, socially, culturally, politically, even within the religious spheres. Now, to discuss women's issues in this special month with a fellow woman, I'm glad that we have an activist here in the studio, Adetun Onajobi. Welcome to Rubbin Minds, Adetun.
Thank you, Dr. Adetun Onajobi.
Thank you for honoring our invitation. So, Women's Month, A lot has been happening. Are you happy with the level of attention that women's issues have received over the years, and particularly in this month of March?
Yes, I will say that I'm happy that the challenges, the traumas, the problems, the subdues that women have been facing over the years is becoming more visible and is coming into the limelight. So yes, I'm happy about it that yes, people are getting to know, the world is getting to know, our children, our young girls are getting to know that we have challenges that we faced, our grandparents faced. And then we have also faced it, and if we don't deal with it, if we don't conquer it, they would also inherit the same challenges, and we don't want them to.
Yeah, so a lot of progress is being made, and I think your point, I resonate with it, that people are speaking out. So many issues have been happening in the past, and people have kept quiet. What has encouraged people to find their voice, to speak out on these issues, especially about issues that previously would be seen as taboo, or you don't mention those things out in public?
You know, over the years, we've been faced with, cultural issues, religious issues, too many things, what the society would say, family ties and all of that, family challenges and all of that. But we're breaking free. The world is global. The world is not just becoming global. The world is global. So we're beginning to check ourselves that, why us only? Is it African only? Is it an African thing? Is it a Nigerian thing? Is it a family thing? Is it my religious thing? So we can see ourselves in the mirror now. Before, the problems were so much, the challenges were so much, the fear was, so much that it shielded everything. But now, not only issues about women, everything generally is beginning to come into the limelight. So, and it's good that everything is becoming visible, because if we stay in the dark, it's not going to help us. We've lived our years, our parents lived years backwards, thinking that this is an unbreakable jinx. They thought that, no, this one, you can't do it. In fact, we grew up with this perception, no, it's a taboo, you can't do this, don't do this. But we're in a world where people are testing. Yoruba people will say, but now, this generation, Sorosoke is a global thing. When you tell them it is a no, they want to go and check whether it is truly a no or a yes. And when they come out and say, oh, so this thing is just like a tie back or a tie down. So it's becoming more obvious, and it will get more obvious, and we want it to become more obvious.
And do you think these women's voices are strong enough? Are the men listening to what the women are saying?
Oh, yes.
Are other women listening? Are they supporting women when they speak up and act courageously, from when the expectation is just be a good girl, be seen and not heard, don't do too much, don't show yourself?
I'll take myself as an example. I'm like a 5-in-1 person. And when I do some things, I see a lot of women, come to me, or when they see me, or they send letters or messages to me and say, you are a strong woman, I wish I can be like you. When I hear things like that, I'm not happy. Some people think like they are trying to hype me, or it's an energy, it's a fuel for me to move on. No, I feel ashamed that what's keeping you? Why are you not doing it? What's subduing you? Why are you envying another woman? Why are you praising another woman when you're supposed to be praising yourself and celebrating yourself? So for me, I will say that it's not proper for some people to be watching some people do it. It's our battle. God has given us that mantle. I keep saying this all the time. We are homemakers. We are nation builders. So meaning that whatever we've been doing at home and succeeding, we can do it anywhere. So no woman should be out there praising another person. Come out. Don't be ashamed. Listen, I always say that you cannot shame the shameless. The fact that we are being intimidated is shameful enough. The fact that we cannot talk when we should talk is shameful enough. So what other shame do you want to inflict on us that is new? So rise up to your responsibility as a woman. Stand up and take the mantle and the baton. What is keeping you? Nothing should subdue you. It's shameful for fellow women to be praising other women.
And you said envy could be the reason, or maybe people they don't trust their own abilities. I begin to wonder that with what's happening with Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan, we've seen a lot of women, current senators, female senators like Senator Ireti, come out and speak. We've seen women take the streets against Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan, saying she's blackmailing, saying that she should go and face her marriage. In fact, the latest one has come out is that she has 4 children from 3 different marriages, and you're expecting women to support women. How come that's not coming through when she's this bold woman who has spoken up against all odds?
So it depends on the angle them Ireti Kingbe and all of that looked at it from. Today, this week, we're celebrating International Women's Day. There are times when we celebrate International Mother's Day, and then we do Mother's Day. There's a difference between being a woman and a mother. Maybe they acted as women, not mothers. First of all, we should all understand that when you insult one woman, you've insulted all women. So whatever shame bestows Natasha is bestowing us and our children. What I expected is for us to deal with our pains inside, and as usual, we come out smiling or supporting each other. There's something we call the spirit of umoja. We have to stay together to fight the battle. We have to stay together to correct our challenges. We have to stay together to deal with each other. They might be thinking, oh, they've gone past that level. What I expected them to do is summon Natasha. When you summon Natasha, whether she comes or not is not the issue. Try to speak to her, make her understand that you are not representing Kogi only. You are representing all the women in that Senate. You are just 4 of you there, and you are representing more than 20 million women, meaning that you are our voice, you are our strength, that you remain unbroken, unchallenged. Now, the issue is not about Natasha. Natasha is a woman. Natasha has her own qualities and her own flaws. But this issue is about her gender. We are dealing about her gender. Even you as a married woman, when you're not happy and you're boiling at home, your husband would have noticed that something is wrong with this woman, and then he would look for a way to approach you. If you look at Natasha's aggression, she's bottled up. Something is eating her,
so
or something is pushing her.
Senator Ireti should have called her to have heard her story, or are you saying that she could have shown support maybe by...
I will not come out to attack a fellow woman like me. We can fight behind doors, but when we come out, we have to come out strong in the face of our adversary. So you shouldn't have come out to say this, because it seemed like they're taking sides. It seemed like they don't trust Natasha. It is not about trusting Natasha now. It is, why would Natasha pour? What is the level of her anger and her frustration that she's bottling up, and then she came out in a public space to pour it? And whatever emotions Natasha has displayed, it supersedes and overrules every law in that house. This is a woman we are talking about. A woman must not be bruised. You can't afford to see a woman cry. And you know, we women, we use these things, this emotion. We can swindle our emotions anywhere. We don't want women using their power as women to destroy men or to blackmail men. We don't want it. If that is the side that is coming from Natasha, no, we will not accept Natasha doing that. Because we also don't want our young girls growing up and then saying, yes, I can attract a man and hold him down with my body. No, you're stronger than your boobs. You're stronger than the physical features that you carry. You are a woman not because of the size of your butt or the size of your breast. You are a woman because you are strong. You are a woman because you're resilient. You are a woman because you are intelligent. You are a woman because you can hold down conversations. You are a woman because you can push when your man is weak. So I would not, and I never expected such women. Definitely they took on Natasha Akpoti and not Natasha's gender. So they went against Natasha's person. Maybe I've heard
they forgot say, that this is a woman's issue. I mean, this is an allegation
which can happen to them as well.
Or their daughters.
Or their sisters.
Yes. So what about those women who are going on the streets, carrying placard, and they are saying, oh, Natasha should face her husband, that Natasha should leave the Senate president alone.
You cannot shame the shameless. When you enter a taxi, you enter a cab, and then they want to hail the cabman, they'll say Okwashewo. Okwashewo is a general statement. So meaning that you are Yawashawo, I am Yawashawo. When you say a woman is a shawo, it's a general statement. It does not matter whether you are a professor or you are a hawker. It does not matter whether you are a pastor's wife. When they want to get at you as a woman, they will say that. So they shouldn't have looked at Natasha's person. You can say Natasha is rude. Natasha has 6 men for different this. All that is story. We all have our stories. But Natasha is not representing her person there. She's representing millions of women on that stage. So leave Natasha's person. I, as a person, people want to deal with my person, but I stay strong. You cannot attack Adeton as a person. You cannot attack me because I am just Adeton for everyone. I am just Adeton for the voiceless. That doesn't mean I'm perfect a person. But when I need to stand strong as a woman, when I need to hold my mantle as a mother, when I need to keep my tears and face my challenges, you can't break me, I'm sorry. So you shouldn't break Natasha because Natasha is a nasty woman or because Natasha is rude. No, Natasha is standing for all of us. If Natasha had not gone through that, millions of women have gone through that. Millions of girls have gone through that. And if we don't put a stop to it, our children, we all have girls. Our girls will go through it. Why do we have to become lions to hold positions? We are queens. You want to open a door for a woman, you open, then let the queen come down. But when you see us in the face of, in the front line of activism, when you see us when we need to attack the government, when you see us when we need to demand for our rights, we become so ruthless. We become lionesses, which shouldn't be in our society today.
I mean, we saw the list of people who signed for the suspension of Senator Natasha.
Transferred signature or originally signed.
I mean, that's what we saw online, and people had to sign for her suspension. And I mean, a lot of people were shocked and surprised that a fellow woman like a Senator Ireti Kigigbe also signed, and she has granted media interviews almost alleging and saying like maybe there was a better way she could have approached it.
Nobody has control over emotions when it gets to a certain level. Nobody has control over emotions when it gets to a certain level. How she presented herself might not be right. Where she presented herself might not be right. But we cannot take away the fact that the woman factor played on her. Natasha might not be matured enough for that position she's taking. Natasha might not have the temperament for that position she's taking. We don't know. I would have expected the House to say, okay, Natasha is boiling, Natasha is overboiling, we want to send her for some counseling, we want to talk to her.
What about investigating the allegations, a free and fair investigation? Because what message are we sending to the young girls who want to go into politics or elected office? Is it that if we talk now, they're going to suspend you for 6 months, or just keep quiet and be like a Senator Ireti and the other ones?
No, them Senator Ireti are... They are the oldies. Don't forget what we said earlier on. They took a lot of things in. So they see a lot of things as norm. And when you do the needful, they see it as being disrespectful. Does that make sense to you? They see it as being disrespectful. Now, Natasha's investigation, we would want it. And we're still going to push for it. Why? It is said that Natasha was telling a lie, and she's being punished for trying to weaponize her agenda, or Natasha was telling the truth, but her emotions overruled her and over-controlled her, and she didn't present herself well. But the factor is Natasha has to be investigated. We don't want to raise a generation of girls who want to weaponize their beauty. Yes. We don't want to raise a generation of girls who are too desperate and will do anything to get to a position that they cannot manage. We don't want our girls to hush into a seat and
we don't want to silence our girls.
No, you can't afford to.
We're almost out of time. So in 30 seconds or less, what's the solution going forward?
The solution is we keep speaking and we keep standing tall and firm in the face of our adversary. We have to make men understand that we are strong. We are stronger than they are. A man can't keep a home without a woman. So we will continue. This is not the end of it, and this is not the first of it. But the thing is, we have to continue. It's our battle. But let me tell you one thing. The challenges that we have faced over the years and our parents faced and suffered, we have to face it now because the advantage and the outcome is more beneficial than that voice of discouragement that we have been trained with over the years.
Thank you so much. So much to still talk about, but sadly we're out of time.
Unfortunately.
Again, happy International Women's Day and happy International Women's
Happy International Day to every beautiful young girl, young women out there. One day you get to the position of being mothers, and then you know the difference between being a woman and being a mother. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We'll take a quick break. Please don't go anywhere. Welcome back to Rubbin Minds. Our next guest spent 2 decades on the radio waves, supercharging us with his energetic style. He has graced the biggest of stages across the world as one of the most respected hype men, a media personality in his own right. We can't wait to know what's next for Oladotun Kayode. But I like to give him a hype intro, so I'll call D to the O to the T to the U to the N. Ladies and gentlemen, here on Rubbin Minds, we have DOTUN, Dr. Energy God.
You already know.
How did I do?
I'll give you a 7 for that.
Oh, thank you. Well, it's a pleasure to have you here on Rubbin Minds. 2 decades on the radio waves, like you came in with fresh energy, supercharged things, unmissable. We miss you on the radio.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
I'm just curious, like 2 decades, what was it like? Because the media landscape has changed, and of course we want to know what you're up to, your plans. So let's go back to when it all started. Why radio?
So the thing is, I mean, first I want to give that reckoning to my dad, because I mean, I grew up in a home where TV shows and radio shows were very prominent. I used to listen to Voice of America by Shaka Zali. I was on the radio, and then I started to listen to AM radio. But that was also something that I'm going to give it to my dad, because, you know, there was never power. And then the first thing he does, he buys you a transistor radio. And then I picked it up. I mean, I listened to a lot of shows. Likes of Tokwe Brown, rest in peace, Stephen Sleek Cattery, who was popular on Raypa at the time. I listened to him, and he was doing a type of show called, what we call in the category of social commentary, where you're talking about music, lifestyle, and then you can back announce, you can talk about what's popping, what's not, and relate it with the music and art and life. And I said, you know, I want to pick this. So for me, you know, unknowingly, my dad, he buys me a transistor radio, and then for every time I listen to the radio, I sleep. While I'm sleeping, the radio is on. But I wasn't sure I was going to pick that up. But then, going to school, because I don't want to go into a long story, but the fact is, somebody who I respect a lot, his soul rest in peace, Mr. Nzeribe, he was actually the president of APCON at the time. He used to see me in class. I thought I was very witty. He gave us one of those projects, and then I did the voiceovers on it. You know, when you do a proper advert campaign, and he just looked at me one day and said, I see that you're very witty in class. I see you sometimes dancing downstairs with your friends, but you always get engaged with a lot of people. I think you'd be pretty good on radio. I'm like, oh, that'd be nice. And then the first radio station, he gave me 3 options. He gave me, I don't want to mention it because but he gave me 3 options. And the radio station I worked in all my life through it was one of those radio stations, and that was Cool FM. And then I just walked in as an intern, walked through all the roads. You know what I mean? The roads. You know, a time when somebody walked into the studio and interviewed me and told me and said, oh, he put the cameras there. And I said, you see, the same place you put those cameras used to be my bed.
Wow.
So, you know, when you are...
So were you a studio rat? Like...
I was completely a studio rat. And then, you know, the thing is, you bought up for the biggest broadcasters. So internship is not the same as it used to be. And that's why, for me, passion, that's what built my passion into having a job that intentionally I made it my hobby. And because whatever you do that's your hobby makes you happy. And it was easy for me to just pick that up. And truthfully, like I said, I think mine was divine. I'm going to give that to God. At the same time, I'm also going to say shout out to the friends that pushed me at the time, my parents as well, and my alma maters and people that I looked up to. Because, you know, these days people say, when you say I look up to someone, they feel, oh, we have to be in the same room. For example, I've never met Michael Jackson, but I love to dance, but he inspired me. I don't have to mentor you or take you through the room to get you there. But there are a lot of people we look up to and we never met. So, I mean, shout out to those people as well. And that's how I picked it up. Likes of, you know, Howard Stern, Dan Foster, so rest in peace.
When I think about my childhood, radio was a companion. Maybe the Nigerian factor, or you're out on the road and you tune in. And I remember Dan Foster, Lakeside, Olisa. We could go on.
Absolutely,
and I mean,
tons.
you have Bemi, I mean, you have Mashe. I can call so many names, but it's not the same now. Is radio dying? Is it too crowded? Don't we have the same level of talent? Or have people all moved to podcast and TV, and the radio art form is no longer regarded as that place where you have the best of the best? Because these are people we looked up to growing up. You know, the evening airwaves, Shola Thompson.
Exactly.
Let me just hold myself.
In a football team, you see that Ronaldo is playing for a club now, but he's actually one of the oldest players in there. I think the biggest problem with radio now are the handlers. Once they feel like they're in a demographic that a lot of, you know, companies, most companies do not even listen to this platform. They depend on what you give them as a brief and say, oh, we're in that space. So sometimes they put money in your station, just think you're just in their own demographic, based on who they're trying to you know, engage. And then when they see this type of money coming in, they just focus on that and forget programming. The truth about radio right now is it's not all about you having to nurture kids or people who think, oh, I have to go to school and study this. You put radio with people who don't even have any type of experience. So let me just tell you right now.
So is it an all-comers affair? Anybody can just get on the mic,
Absolutely.
fake an American accent?
With what's going on now, right? It's looking like that because, for example, if you're just a TikToker or you just have numbers on social media and maybe you go on
reality show
or whatever it is, the first thing is, I mean, anybody could be, but you have to also learn through, you know, the ropes. So you get better when you get on it. But now the fact that the handlers are more concerned about how to just make money and what they can get so quickly because it's not monopoly anymore. The competition is crazy. But also they've left that box where you have core programming, where people look forward to want to listen to something or look forward to someone. And then sometimes you realize that even the owners compete with the people who are the subjects. For example, if I'm a big guy and I'm pushing all the weight and pushing everything to grow the platform, all you need to do is support me to get to the next level. But it's hard for them because sometimes they're competing with you or sometimes, you know, they're not doing the right things to get you there. Look at the conversation on salaries and all that kind of stuff. Sometimes what they make, you can't equate it with what they pay people. So sometimes it doesn't just work. So with all of that, they're looking for the next person who says, you know what, I have numbers, but I just want to add this to whatever I'm doing. And so, oh, no, don't worry. And then you see the likes of the best guys who can do it and not in the place anymore. Even in the football team, what he means is that you also have to be able to infuse the guys who have done it in the system. But then at the end of the day, you are the ones, you're always against them, or you're not giving them the right platform to grow, or to even nurture somebody else like them, you know? And then for someone like me who had so much passion, and I still left it anyways. Because
Why?
the truth is, I got to a point where I felt like I was done. There's nothing to prove anymore. And
what about your loyal listeners, the people who tuned in for you? Don't we matter? Aren't we part of the conversation?
You do, but you know, the thing is, I can move that energy into something else. Crazily, this might sound crazy, podcast is a new radio now. So the thing is, you're seeing that people see tools, baby, we're all moving into other things like that. I'll probably never think in my lifetime I'll probably do a podcast, but sometimes I feel I have a lot to say. I feel I have so much of, I can punch so many things, and besides, there are not so many restrictions to be able to be myself. You know, aside the fact you have to deal with NBC, you also have to deal with management. You also have to deal with the other people as well. There's too much gatekeeping, right?
So do you feel like you're in a straitjacket on radio and a podcast is a form that allows you to be yourself?
So the fact is, even on radio, I was a lot like myself. But, you know, aside the restriction, I'm just saying, you know, there's prospect for whatever you're doing. Sometimes you get to a point. I also wanted a space where I have other kids come in and do their own thing. I think in my own way, I've been able to nurture the type of people that should be there. If you don't take that as your yardstick, then that's on you. So I think 20 years of doing that, if I was going to speak to myself as a younger self, I would have said I would have done it for 10 years. But the truth is, for you to make that much impact in a space like that, it requires a number of years to be able to do that. So, and that's why I spent this number of years. But the truth is, for the listeners, I can take them somewhere else. And then, and maybe you never know, maybe one of these days I might be one of the king of podcasts. And that's that's one of the levels I'm looking at, because I'm launching 2 podcasts. People have pushed me, and I think it's the right time for me to do that.
I mean, we're hearing the happy ending, 20 years. We had the beginning, Studio Rat, but in between that journey, there were ups and downs, valleys and peaks. So can you go back to maybe some of those challenges and how you were able to surmount them? Because there are people who are going to be watching and thinking, I want to be like you, and I still believe in radio, and what do I need to do better? Like you said, to your younger self, how were you able to manage those challenges?
So first of all, this might be a very honest point of view, and I know not everybody's going to see it like this, but I will. Not because I do not care, but the fact is, I think we're in a space where we need to speak the truth. Oladoto Kayode is someone who did what I did for the passion. If you're not coming into that space and think you're going to make all the money in the world, your heart will be broken, because if you're not the type who can use your platform to build something for yourself, you're going to be heartbroken a lot of times. I've seen a lot of people come into the business and they realize they think it's fame, but it doesn't equate to the money that you will have. Because truthfully, one of the reasons why I thought about I wanted something that for myself was when I said, I can't be in a space like this. What makes me different from everybody else? What can make me more money than what I'm doing? And that was where I found hype. But bless radio for giving me the platform to be able to figure myself, because I built that on the radio and I took it out. And now, as you can see, it's a commercial success. Now, the truth is, that's the part people don't really say.
That you don't get paid, or your old salaries, or it's not as great.
It's not as great talking about remuneration. It's great as a platform to grow, meet people, and to go. The truth is, even meeting people, that's money. So I'm also saying that's the grace the radio is going to give you. If you're ready for that, then you can take that plunge. But the truth is, it's not a money-giving type of career. It's just placing you in the right place to make that money for yourself. And like I already said, it only now depends on where you're positioned in an establishment like that, because if you're not well positioned, it's not going to be all fun and games. Now, the truth also is, which was great for me, is getting to that same level of where I wanted to get to. You have to walk through it. For example, you find people in radio stations who just get on the microphone in 3-6 months. That shouldn't be the case. You should have learned your music, work in the music department, work in news, learn how to record and voiceovers production, But nowadays, if you're not ready to do that, that will be a problem for you. If you want to go on radio because you want to be a superstar, that will be a big problem for you. If you want to go on radio because you want to make an impact, that's good for you. If you want to go on radio because you want to make an impact, and at the end of the day you want to make money, it's good. But truthfully, the money will not come at the time that you expect it to come. It would take time.
Now let's look at some of the controversies in your career, like the steamy details. Like, can you point to one, like, where it could almost have made or marred your career, like that story, that experience?
To be honest, there are tons of, and I would not say basically that would mar, for every time whatever you do, there is a clear caught in what you're doing, and you realize that in things that you do, there also hazard in the job as well, but for me, it was not just because I did something wrong. Sometimes I do something right, and then it's seen as wrong, right? For example, so rest in peace, Goldie, which sometimes I feel like I've never really touched on that, but I'll be writing my book called Do Not Believe the Hype, and I'm going to be pouring out so many things in there. Goldie, I was doing my job, but Goldie came into the studio because I knew her before, but I had to do my job. Even the things I knew that was personal to her, that was showed up on the show, and people couldn't even place their hands on. I knew that before she went on the show, but I had to do my job. So that was one of the first interviews that she walked out. It was kind of, with the fans and everybody didn't like that, and tons like that. Different types of interviews that I've done, some because they expect me to be friends, and then it's not the same way. But truthfully, I think majorly would be the one that probably happened because of my conversation and my journey is the one that happened with the family thing, which I don't really want to talk about. But to be honest, the fact is that's even personal. On my job, for everything I've done, is the right thing based on the job, satisfying the people that employed you and satisfying the craft and the norms of the craft.
Yes, it's
but
work.
I've also, exactly. But
It's
in the
work.
course of it, I've also built enemies as well.
Yeah, as expected. If you're going to do your job well, it comes with the tearing. So, final question will be, you mentioned the book, you mentioned 2 podcasts. What else for the Energy Guard?
Okay, so the thing is, I mean, lately I picked up a few scripts as a waka pass.
Okay,
but I
acting.
think I also picked things based off on the idea. And shout out to Toya C. She made the first AI film called Make Mason. I was in that, and I liked the projection of it. What the idea, what he was telling, introducing something very different to children and kids in the wards about AI. There's a film about it, and because of how it was shot in Nigeria, I was part of that. Whether or not I had just 1 or 2 scenes there, I don't care.
Oh, okay.
But it also means that I'm also looking at movies. There was one also about dance that was also by Unlimited LA. So I might be picking up a few scripts in film. But majorly, I'm starting something that will be unconventional. That is my rave, my type of rave. My podcast coming out soon, my book coming out too as well. And listen, you know, Energy Guard will always be, I'll still be rocking all the parties. That one is not going anywhere.
We wish you all the best. Sounds all amazing. Thank you so much, Oladotun Kayode.
Thank you very much.
And it's a wrap here on Rubbin Minds. My name is Isabella Adediji. Do enjoy the rest of your afternoon. Goodbye.